evening and welcome to 27 Minutes here on WJTS 27. Recently, the town of Duff celebrated their 125th anniversary.
With the 4th of July being the point of celebration for a lot of communities, one community celebrated for an additional reason the day before on July 3rd, the town of Duff with their 125th anniversary. We spoke with local Hugo C. Songer, who told us a little bit about the history of Duff and about the celebrations that were going on that day.
Today is a big day in Duff, Indiana. It's the 125th anniversary. I don't think there's even a word for the 125th. It's not like the centennial or sesquicentennial, but any reason to get together and have fun with your neighbors and your relatives in Duff, Indiana is a good reason. And today's the 125th anniversary. We have rides for the kids. They're all free. And we have 3 bands all together, and we have private parties going on everywhere. We'll have fireworks after it gets dark. We have a beanbag competition. We have some things for sale. They've written a song about Duff, which is quite good. So it's a big day in Duff, Indiana, and wish you all could be here to help us celebrate. Yeah, the history of Duff. Well, the railroad, as you can see, runs just back of you there. And Duff is here because the railroad's here. Duff was platted right after the railroad was built, and Birdseye, by the way, is the same way. Velpen, Indiana, down in Pike County, is the same way. So the railroad played a huge part in our lives and in the history of Duff. Settled primarily originally by Scots-Irish people, and some Anglos and some Irish and Scots. There was always a certain amount of friction, but nevertheless, when push came to shove, the Duffers always got together and made peace. We've always celebrated as a community, and we still do, and that's what's going on here today. You see a lot of people you haven't seen for years. They've moved away, but they have come back to Duff to celebrate once again the virtues of Duff, Indiana.
Duff celebrated their 125th anniversary with live music, good food, fun activities for the kids, and booths set up to discuss and show the history of Duff. All this with a huge crowd showed that communities and old friends can still get together for celebration. For WJTS, I'm Peter Marshall.
Also, some big things were happening at the Jasper Arts Center.
The Dubois County Art Guild celebrated their 40th anniversary with a reception at the Crimp Gallery, which displayed a lot of their members' artwork. We spoke with Alice Kemper and Susan Taylor, who told us a little bit more about the history of the Art Guild and a little bit more about what was going on at the Crimp Gallery.
The Art Guild started in 1968 with approximately 30 members. It was, the bylaws said you had to more or less live and work in Dubois County to become a member, which since then we have opened up the membership to anyone in the area, or whoever wants to become a member, you can. Let's see, the first show was in 1968 in the German-American Bank basement, and it was 2 days in April. We usually had it in April, and since then we have moved to the Crimp Gallery. And it's usually a month show, and this year we have a 2-month show. It's July and August. And the first president of the Guild was Lillian Doan. The first winner was Nancy Gerber, Best of Show. And since then, too, we have categorized our paintings. We have 5 categories. We have first, second, and third place winners in each category. Let's see, the judge for the first show was Tom Schum. And there was a lot of art patrons, which would give a day or 2 notice, and they would come in before the public to purchase paintings. And the goal of the Art Guild is to promote the arts and just make the art awareness in the community. We give a scholarship every year to a high school senior, and they have to be judged also. The judge for our show will also judge the high school scholarship winner. And like I said, every year we give $250 to a student who will be studying art in college. So that's one of our goals. And we have meetings almost every month. We have a Christmas banquet. We do outside painting. We go to various festivals and things if we can, and promote our art there. We just have a good time, and we hope our membership will grow because of the open membership now. That's the way our guild works, and we just love painting, and we hope the public will come out to our show and view our show every year. So.
Today is the reception for the Dubois County Art Guild. We are celebrating our 40th anniversary. We have a reception this afternoon at the Kremp Gallery. Our paintings represent the works of our members. We have oils, we have acrylics, we have watercolors. There are also drawings, pastels, photography, and pottery, which represent all facets of artwork. Kendra Wilmus is our scholarship winner this year, and she will be receiving $250 from the Art Guild to apply towards her college year. We also have a section dedicated this year in the memory of Ralph Steele. Ralph has been a member of the Art Guild, and he was such a cherished member. He passed away this past year, and we wanted to honor him and his memory, and so we do have a number of his paintings hanging in his memory.
The Dubois County Art Guild 40th Anniversary Gallery will remain open until August 28th of 2008. The Jasper Community Arts Center encourages people of the area to come out and support their local artists. For WJTS, I'm Peter Marshall.
Meanwhile, the Huntingburg City Council met earlier this week with a public hearing and then the rest of the meeting.
Okay, I think we had a mutual agreement that Lisa, she's got a daughter playing tonight. She said she would make this quick. And Ron Hall on a public hearing for the wastewater improvement project. Lisa?
I've got a tape recorder here, so I'll put it here so I can get everybody's comments. There's an attendance sheet that was going around, so if you haven't signed the attendance sheet.
Has anybody not signed the attendance sheet?
Nope.
Connie's back there, she didn't.
Let me get that passed back there.
Yes, I can do that. How you want to start?
Okay. Thank you, Jen. This is the first of 2 public hearings to be held for the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs grant. I'd like to start off by reading a letter from the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. It was dated December 4th, 2007. It says, the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs is pleased to learn that OFS Corporation is considering Huntingburg as a site for its new facility. It's also noted that the City of Huntingburg has agreed to apply for Community Development Block Grant funds to assist the company with necessary infrastructure. Upon receipt of a complete application that meets all requirements in accordance with state and federal CDBG regulations, Okra will fund a grant request of $500,000 to the City of Huntingburg. Please note that of this amount, $457,000 must be made available for wastewater system improvements. The remaining $43,000 may be designated for environmental review and grant administrative services. Please note that the main funding requirement is that the company, OFS Brands, must agree to create 100 net new full-time positions at its Huntingburg, Indiana location. At least 51% of these jobs must be held by low and moderate income persons. This requirement must be met within 2 years of the grant award. A job is considered to be held by a low and moderate income at the time of their employment. And then we have a table. If you have, for example, one person in the family If you make below $34,350, you're considered low and moderate income. And then it increases as the people in the family increase. So Oprah, along with the grant administrator, will assist the City of Huntingburg in taking the necessary administrative steps to achieve this requirement. And Oprah must receive a completed application by August 31st of 2008 in order for this offer to remain valid. This is the first of 2 public hearings that are required for this grant application. I would like to say, just to reiterate, the application is due August 31st. This $500,000 is part of a $2,709,000 project for upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant. This $500,000 will be added to bonds in the amount of $909,000 plus a $1,300,000 grant pending with the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration. So all told, we have a $2,709,000 project. The improvements to the wastewater treatment plant are, I passed out a narrative description of those improvements, which you have. It's 2 pages. It's basically a berm around the plant and equalization basin. Those are the biggest. And then I've also passed out the the latest cost estimates. I would like to, before I seek comments from the public about this project, I'd like to introduce Jim Hebner with OFS if he has any comments to make. Would you like to say anything, Jim?
Just thanks for considering the project, and I know it's very important for the city, so I'm just glad to be here, and we'll make our good faith effort to continue to grow the business and continue to increase employment.
Thank you.
Okay, we will have another public hearing, and at that second public hearing, I'll be coming back to ask you, the city, to sign a resolution to actually submit it and give the mayor permission to sign it. But at this time, at this first public hearing, we'd like to take comments regarding the project and how you feel about it. So if you'll state your name before your comments, that would be helpful.
Does anybody have any comments?
Go ahead. Can I just make it from here?
I'd like to come over forward if you would. Thanks, Bob.
My name is Bob Gruey. I'm the president of the Dubois County Area Development Corporation. On behalf of the corporation, we're pleased to indicate our support for this project at this public hearing. We think this is an essential project and a very strategic investment to help maintain Huntingburg's competitive position in economic development. These wastewater infrastructure improvements are going to help to foster continuing new business investment and particularly leverage Huntingburg's strategic resources that we like to tout, including proximity to I-64, the airport, Norfolk Southern's main line through the community. All those things can be leveraged by these improvements. So thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Any others? Okay. Connie?
I'm Connie Noss. I didn't know about this, but my one question is how much of this would be funded by customers, or is it total? I heard what you said, so I didn't add it up that quick. But is it all in grants?
1.3 million is from U.S. Department of Commerce, EDA. That's a federal grant, and then this 500,000 is a state grant, and then there is $909,000 in City of Huntingburg local matching funds, and that is going to be derived from bonding and to be paid back over time from. You want to talk about that a little, Phil?
It's anticipated that there would be a sewage works revenue bond issued. However, before those bonds are actually sold, before the sewage works revenue bonds are sold, bond anticipation notes would be issued to a local bank who's already committed to buying the bonds. And over a period of 5 years, it's anticipated that those would be paid back that loan will be paid off through edit revenues. We have pledged edit revenues, there's no guarantee, but we would like to pay it off through edit revenues rather than encumber the ratepayers with that obligation. So that's the intention. Were we to issue an edit bond, it would use up our constitutional debt limit, and so we're trying to avoid issuing an edit bond for that purpose.
Any other questions?
Okay.
No other questions?
Thank you all for attending, and we'll close the public hearing then.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. Good luck to your daughter.
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to make a comment. I will be brief, and I will end with 3 questions, and it is in regard to the core project. I am here because I am a taxpayer, and this is a very, very, very major decision that you are making. It's a major issue. It's a major issue because it sets a precedence for how we deal with other vacant buildings in our city. We are rescuing a floundering business. There are other businesses that are teetering on the edge of bankruptcy in Huntingburg. Are we going to try to rescue them also? Our responsibility, seems to me, is that we are to help the owners to economic development, as Ken just said, to help them to find innovative ways to attract new businesses into existing buildings and utilizing those buildings, not for the city to buy buildings and saddle the city with very, very old, contaminated buildings. Part of being a leader is to create a forum for many views, which is a good thing. And politics is when a small group of people voice opinions in a public forum to attempt to force a vote. Political leaders, which you all are, listen to all sides and investigate all options and take their time in making decisions before that you make a decision. I think that we have an ace in the hole right here in this room, so to speak, because you have Phil Schneider, who is one of the top city-town attorneys in the state of Indiana. We are wise to listen to his interpretations of our ordinances. Nobody here knows more about city ordinances than Phil Schneider. Even if they come from another city or town or state, all ordinances are specific to the locale. Our ordinances are in place to guide us and protect us. And within our ordinances are guidelines for each specific area of town. 4th Street and the surrounding area is protected by undesirable businesses. It's protected from them, and it's protected from manufacturers or companies. And we should be guided, and we are protected from unauthorized businesses in our ordinances, Phil has stated. This is no small project. It is no small cost to the payers of Huntingburg, who you have been elected to serve and to protect. I think that such unfounded expenditures that you're talking about is only a very beginning of the cost of owning that building, and it has the potential to destroy a small city such as this. That's my comment. Now I have 3 questions that I would appreciate, and I think the taxpayers of Indiana would appreciate an answer to. Number 1, Huntingburg is Huntingburg no matter where in Huntingburg the location is that you're talking about. What if a similar business that we're talking about, that wanted to locate at Core, wanted to locate there, what if a similar business wants to locate in a properly zoned area of Huntingburg? Or even in St. Joseph's building, in the St. Joseph's Hospital building? Will the city buy those buildings too? You need to think about that. Number 2 question is, what about other floundering businesses that we're seeing more and more empty buildings? Are we going into the real estate or entrepreneurial business and you will buy them out also? You are setting a precedence, and that's my whole thing, is the precedence that you are setting by doing this. And number 3, you are going to indebt the taxpayers of Huntingburg for this so-called easy acquisition, this gift by paying off the taxes on the building, but that is just the very beginning of the cost that you are incurring for the city, plus a precedence. My question here is, have you paid a certified firm, and if so, who and how much, to inspect and to give you an estimate of the cost to deal with the asbestos in the old Stark Hospital Nursing Home building, and the building that was gifted, or being gifted, whether it is or it's in the process, of being gifted to the city by the JCs? That, for us older people, has had chemicals for many, many, many years, and it will be expensive too. We're talking about upwards of $750,000 just to deal with the asbestos and the chemicals in these buildings. Those are my 3 questions.
Very good question. Very good question.
They've all been brought up before.
Yeah. I brought up the asbestos.
Every question you've asked has already been brought up since January 1.
Has there been a firm hired to
Nope.
evaluate?
We don't own it, so how can we hire somebody to inspect it?
You can. If you're buying property, you can.
It was said here that we don't have it, so why do we pay to inspect it? It's been
Well,
brought
you
up
pay
before in
to
other meetings.
inspect it. You pay to inspect a house before you purchase a house.
Correct.
Well,
We discussed it with IDEM, and IDEM did tell us, about, I think at the last meeting, we had a $150,000 like estimate from Cooper to take the building down. Then we added on that we thought, there was asbestos, and we were banking around $250. I mean, that was discussed in the last meeting. There were some figures thrown around about how much it would be to demolish and either refurbish or demolish the building. And it was brought up at the last meeting.
isn't there an underground passageway that connects it to the other
I've
building?
heard that. We've heard that. I think you would.
So you would have to take care of that because of the building attached to it. And if you're only guessing, and it's an educated guess in a way, but unless you're an expert in asbestos, you have no idea. This is such a costly adventure that I guess I question how you can make a purchase such as this without knowing what you're purchasing. And thank you for answering that question. I guess
Connie,
that...
I think the GC building, the old
That
Caterpillar,
was
appraised, and some cores were
inspected.
That was.
There's no problem there as far as the tearing that down, the felling it. But the old Star Hospital, I don't know.
But we do need to know those things before you buy a house. Then I go on to ask my first question, which is, what if a similar business, as was proposed for Core, is going to go somewhere else in Huntingburg? Are you going to purchase that building
That's
too?
been brought up too. And Gene even asked, we're not in the real estate business. We can't be buying everything.
We can't.
Every one of these questions
You're
have been
setting
brought up.
such a precedent here.
And
it's
this
not
has been
too
going
late.
on for a long time.
It's not too late to turn around. I don't know, I don't know. Alan was very sick last year. I didn't concern myself with city business, but he's doing better. And I am concerned because I want to live here until I die. Got people here with young children who want to live here.
There's a lot of us that do.
And you can't saddle the city with expenses like this that could bring down our city, especially when we're talking about such tax increases, and now we've got a tax break, and we're turning around spending money for something that the city has no business.
And the economy is not what it could be.
You answered that. My second then goes right along with it. Are we going to help other floundering businesses in Huntingburg? Because you are setting a precedent. How do you decide which ones you're going to help and which ones you're
It's
not?
basically the same question. We've answered.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Connie. Well, if we don't get a motion, it'll die from a lack of motion to appropriate money. We went through this before.
May I approach? May I approach?
Sure.
My name's Christopher New. Everyone who's attended these meetings has seen me up here many times. I think I always want to say Mayor Noss, because she still is in my eyes. Just a habit. asked very good questions. They have all been asked and answered. No one within the voice of Huntingburg likes this idea. No one does. Everyone has been hoping to find better ideas, better answers. It's been 8-9 months. No one has come up with any better answers. The reality is, I think there are very few buildings within the city that would be well suited for transitional housing. Core was built as a hospital. It became a nursing facility. It is well suited for that type of purpose. It's a valid question though, because it could come up again. But very few buildings are well suited. I don't see this as rescuing a business. She's picked up and moved her business. She's no longer in Huntingburg. She's giving that building away to whomever fits the not-for-profit tax classification. The city is one entity that fits that classification. There are many others. She's leaving. She has left. She's going to give it to whomever. She's done. There have been we've been asking the question, if we don't do this, the city take it. What specific steps are city leaders taking to protect its citizens? The code was written in pieces or in part decades ago, long before the ideas of transitional housing ever came into fruition. Those ideas did not exist 20 years ago.
We're going to keep this short, or?
May I have as much time as she had?
Yeah.
Okay, then yes, we'll keep it short. To my knowledge, there have been no attempts to change or strengthen the code in the past 8 months. We were hopeful, to be completely honest, there would be steps taken to do that. There haven't been any steps. Here we are at this juncture with very little time.
I'm going to hold you up there.
Okay?
The codes have been updated. We went through this last time. We don't want to hash this out again. The codes have been updated. Phil has assured all of us, and as attorney, we have to have faith in him. It is, I don't want to go there anymore, Chris, okay? The codes have
what
been
I
brought
said
up,
was they were written
and we
all
feel,
or in
I
part
feel that they're
decades
strong
ago.
enough. That is your opinion. We don't want to go. That is your opinion. We have to go with our attorney.
That's my opinion. That was also the opinion of late Bill Lett, who was also an attorney, who lived across the street, who still does. He did not think it was strong enough.
The entire zoning code was completely rewritten in 1999. Now, it's 9-10 years old, but it was completely written in 1999. It is not decades old. I must also tell you, Chris, that yes, that is a suitable building for transitional housing, but it's not zoned for transitional housing. We have a zoning code that would prohibit it. I told the council that before. I told the council last week that it was my personal opinion that this is bad policy. I agree completely with Connie Noss and what she has said. However, the council at last meeting, you voted to proceed with the acquisition of the property. I've advised the owner that that's what you've done. I'm not sure at this point how you can change your mind.
Why not, sir?
We can't until the deadline at least.
The next point was there was no buy-when date on the contract. The contract was signed. There's no buy-when date on it. Try to back out now, and I think the amount of money my assumption as a educated business person is that you would have to fight that. If Ms. Horton started litigating, I think you could exceed the amount of money we're talking about, fairly quickly in retainer fees. Lastly, as far as politics are concerned, there were as many registered Republicans as there were Democrats that helped voice their opinions, attend these council meetings over the last 8 months, as well as sign petitions. I don't think politics has a thing to do with it.
You can see the entire Huntingburg City Council meeting this Sunday morning at 7 a.m. here on WJTS 27. That will wrap things up for this edition of 27 Minutes. For the entire crew, I'm Kurt Gutgsell. Have a great night.